Well, we'll
What that was.
get something to do, I guess.
You're live.
Did,
Yeah, that's it. She's coming.
while we're waiting, talked to Brad briefly yesterday about the audio part of the meeting. Not very good. It's not on it. He has to do it. He just talked about different equipment, so.
Yeah, I'm looking at different equipment with mics, little gooseneck mics, and a little PA system to attach to it for down here. And I guess the PA system would stay in my office for county that needs it. And the mics and things, we don't know how long we're gonna be down here, so something to
Think about.
think,
The audio part of it's not coming through clear.
It is poor. The audio is all in this camera right here. So everything is connected to that. So if we can amplify it on your guys' end, this camera will pick it up better. The audio we were using before, was so-so. I'm looking at something I can tear down easy and put back up quick. Something simple.
Does that pick up people who are standing?
Yes, it does.
talking?
The closer you are, the better. And some people are harder to hear than others.
I know I get told I'm a low talker as it
Your,
is.
your voice doesn't carry real strong, or it doesn't appear.
Mine that
My
way
hearing's
too.
not the best either.
So,
So if the audio is not accomplishing what it's supposed to, that needs to be changed.
I have a email and a phone call to a company. I'm asking about their equipment. It's, the two pieces I want to buy are less than $1,000. It's about $700-800. And it could be a COVID related expense because this is all COVID related.
Yeah, come think of it.
So I'm checking into it. See.
Everybody good with that?
So that's not accomplishing our goal if we don't have good equipment to
Yeah.
do what we're intending.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have it.
She brought it over and I didn't even,
I thought we was waiting on something else.
no, I'm just not used to being here on check days.
I guess, Dan.
No, he signs them.
You'll have one here. We'll have one.
We have to have two physical signatures and the chairman's always one of them,
Okay.
unless you change that.
Here's one from Anderson County Sheriff's Office for inmates. Days billed 5, cost per inmate $140. They're charging less than $30 a day for an inmate. I think it was 40 something. It's the bottom line on that.
$140
$140 for 5 days is the way that looks.
$140 for 5 days.
For 5 days, that's less than $30 a day.
For the 5 days, it was $28 a day, but when one where it only had 3 days, it was only $23 per day.
Yeah. I didn't realize, I was thinking the cost was more greater than that.
Well, I'm sure it
Seems
is.
like it's always been 40.
I'm sure it is with transportation and everything.
So you've got meals involved, and that $28, 3 meals would take care of half of that.
Maybe they need people to keep their people busy.
Good morning, Heather. How are you doing?
BNW Services, 1321 Chatland Lane.
It's a repair.
Says on a truck, yeah.
1,300 Shetland,
13,
pardon,
1321 Chatland Lane.
see, that'd be Rick Brooks. It's in that area. Because he's on Shetland, 12 is one across.
Well, be a mile on north of him though, because he would be 12 something.
I remember the name they got gentleman, but there's a guy that works on trucks out that way. Which Jeremy's taking our truck out there, that's the only reason I know that.
I'd heard of BNW.
I can't remember who it is.
B&W is always connected to the trailer hitch company in Humboldt. Be nice to have a company like that in Crawford County.
Yeah.
I don't know how many employees they got anymore, but it must be 400 or 500.
Started from one or two.
Vicki?
Hi, Russell.
Hello. So got a question. When we meet with the architect tomorrow, one of the questions, and I've also talked to some of you about it, is green spaces to consider for if the jail, whatever, gets moved to a different location, don't rebuild it here. What are some of the green sites we want them to look at? What's been suggested to me so far is industrial park, south of town, south of the vet clinic, the land south of Crow Maudie and the old Walmart building, the airport, the old church over here, tear it down, go over there, and maybe out around the landfill, somewhere out in there. He said, look at 3 to 5 acres. Is what the architect said. So just places for them to consider to kind of figure out numbers, what it would cost here versus what it would cost there. Are there any other locations that you want looked at other than like those mentioned?
The corner of Cross and Links Road is city utilities and everything are pretty darn close right there. I mean, just
Cross.
west of the Christian church there, there's on the corner, there's big lots there. I don't know who owns them. But, you know, that's still close to the city, but still out.
West of Cross and Links.
No,
It's right at the T
the southeast
on
corner,
Cross.
the southeast corner of Cross and Links in that area.
So right
Just thought of that later, but
next to the church?
Yeah, right.
right west of the church there, a little ways. Yeah, I don't know how much they own, but
There's a vacant area about who owns it.
It was
it might be Don White.
no, it was
Don White's got some stuff in there.
it was the old, junior high principal. Name's on top of me, tip of my tongue.
Matt Thompson? Matt Thompson?
I think so. There's 5 acres there. 5 or 10.
The utilities would be close there.
Don't quote me on that. I think so.
This area to the south, where the school's got a structure. Because they moved their district office downtown. And they're using this for another purpose.
Daycare.
Where they want to do their daycare.
So that would probably be a location that
Yeah.
would be worth trying to buy out.
I know, roughly a year ago or so, the sheriff approached the school board and they're like, so I mean, that would be fine. So yeah, I don't think that's an option. I think across the street, that way was mentioned, but I don't think it's big enough, just like I don't think the church area is big enough unless we're willing to go up. And I know that they would the architect mentioned that he would just as soon keep everything on one level.
And once you start going up, so does the cost.
Yeah, elevators.
Yeah.
So, but if the desire was to keep it in the heart of town, that might be your only, but I don't know how big a desire that is.
Then when you start going up, then you gotta start going down for a tunnel to bring the prisoners across for the,
Miami County did that.
I think, Anderson did that too.
Yeah, they did actually.
Then that gets into a lot more expense.
I'm sure the safety factor is what they say.
Exactly.
Extra $1 million, I think, what the tunnel cost did.
Wasn't cheap.
Okay, so those are the locations I'll tell him, and I mean, if you think of something else, let me know. I know somebody mentioned Vito, but I assume we don't want to go through it there.
That's always a
It's a
transport.
long way.
Even, for me, even the airport's a ways to be transporting somebody down here for court, but
Well, and I think part of that idea is, I think the idea is that if it went there, the court would be going to. Is the idea.
Whole new justice system.
Yeah. Which, you know, looking at the rest of the courthouse, obviously the current commission chambers, old commission chambers, whatever you want to call them, are too small. And so part of their consideration is going to be what do we do for those? And so if court goes away, then that makes an easy fix for the commission chambers, as the courtroom would become presumably the commission chambers.
Yeah.
They could be used for other meetings too, bigger meetings. So it'd make it more versatile. Other than just, you know, 1 or 2 commission meetings, it would probably be used for other stuff then. But if the court leaves with the jail and the sheriff's office, that would fix some other issues too. But that's the architect's job, is to figure out all that and what each option costs. So anyway, I just wanted to get your input on the green spaces and if anybody had any other ideas.
well, then if that's the case, up there behind City Hall, Joe Royer would sell.
Yeah, and I was thinking of the Roar property at the end of Yosho Street too. I mean, there's a lot of potential properties for sale that would be big enough for something like that.
For me, it's right behind City Hall. I don't know. You get too close to residential, I don't know.
You mean
People like the city, you know, wouldn't like that idea.
behind City Hall,
New City Hall,
New City,
new City Hall,
Old Line Coffee.
which is close to the hospital,
exactly. All right there.
right?
If they keep that on one level, jail and the sheriff and the court, how many square feet are they projected that to take?
I can't answer, I don't know right now.
That gives us a rough idea of the areas we could look at.
Well, he said a minimum of 3 to 5 acres,
3 acres,
3 to 5 acres.
That'd be. fit
does
right
that
there.
have to be a parking and everything?
I believe so, yeah. So add that one on for sure. Of the ones I mentioned, do you not want to mention any of them?
Would that be considered floodplain down there?
Hmm.
That's not, I mean, I've never seen a flood there, but I just wondered if it'd be in the floodplain.
No, it'd be up and out because Burlington Place Apartments sits lower than that. And the motel actually sits lower than that, and they're not in it, so.
Yeah. And so, do you even want me to mention the church?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they ought to be left out. I mean, you're gonna have to have 2 or 3 stories there.
Be every bit.
So, behind New City Hall, do you want me to mention the airport?
I really don't think it would just, I don't know, I guess you could mention it, but utilities and stuff is gonna be tremendous out there for
Mhm.
provided. You're gonna have your own sewer system and everything.
I'm not sure the airport or the solid waste either one would be at a good location.
Okay, so don't mention those, and that's fine, I'm asking it, no matter to me.
I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to throw them out. They could, let them look at it and guess those people are the ones that we're hiring them to tell us what might work and what might not, so I guess more potential places they can take a look at and tell us why this is not a choice.
So behind City Hall, west of the church, the airport, and the landfill.
In industrial park. And
Oh, yeah, and the industrial park outside, those 5 places.
That's a good choice, and take you everywhere around.
The one behind City Hall would be ideal, close to the hospital. I mean, it's,
I don't
Utilities are all
disagree.
available.
yeah.
It's not exactly prime retail space, but yet it's close.
You wouldn't be taking away from the retail or residential now.
Or the industrial park that maybe something would go into sometime.
Exactly.
You're talking about behind City Hall, you're talking about that 3 or 4 acre farm ground there that I think Roar owns.
Joe does, yeah.
Okay. To me, that might be the most logical place here in the city. Because the acreage would be there to make that work. Because Joe owns both sides of the road there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And if you had to, you could put a parking lot in the flood area, if it's flood on that side of the road, if you had to, make additional parking eventually or something.
I think there's ample space there personally. That goes. There's every bit of.
Okay, I'll mention those 1, 2, 3, 4. Or City Hall, kind of number 1 maybe. Industrial park, church.
Well, you don't need to rate them, just let them know, let them figure it out.
You actually have 1, 2, you kind of have them in every direction from here.
Okey-doke. Anything else? Which, you plan on being there tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else to mention to them? Okay.
Thank you. You got one of them rubber thumbs? I want to be licking my finger.
Second.
The COVID stuff going on.
I can try to get it now.
Sally's Auto Repair. Sally's Auto Repair.
It must be in it. It must be.
That's Auto Repair, I think of there.
I used to go down there, I don't go down there anymore since they made it just all credit card funds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't buy the credit card, they don't want it, there's the funds. I don't buy gas on credit card. Guess I'm just too old fashioned.
Kind of, yeah. Not much on credit cards.
I don't use one unless I have to. We bought a little piece of furniture for our granddaughter the other day at Pica, that mall thing. We've been trading for years, but we wanted to pick it up that day. If we want to pick it up that day, it's gotta be bought on credit card.
Would you let you take cash?
Yeah, if you want to do that, we can have
Yeah,
cash.
that's the thing.
Problem is not having to have exact change.
We always had a county service fee when we bought tape. We always had a town service fee when we bought tape.
I don't know.
You see, it's $5 an insurance fund. We did, they were that high for what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just always bought the tapes and went on. I knew I had to, so.
Is Leonard still at the hospital, Bob, or is he moved on to El Dorado?
Do what?
Is Leonard still at the hospital?
Till October the 1st.
I know we didn't hear a date.
October 1st.
I need to call him. He's just talked to him, I haven't.
I got a call yesterday. Said he'll be coming in sometime.
Coming in. I was gonna call and talk to him later.
That's right.
$5,000 worth of paper.
How you doing, Jessica?
I'm good.
Got you on your knees, huh?
I figure I'm already down here like, I'll get up with you.
I think grocery stores, funeral homes where we had
What's that?
a grocery store, so we'll take your money to die, and when you die, you won't be able to take what you have.
That's what's left.
Jessica, here's a bill for, it's invoice number 93377. And it's for labor, and they charged a tax on it.
Okay,
I want to check that out. It's
so don't worry.
Lonnie Jasper.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, Jess.
Names.
Denise?
Yeah.
Here's a bill to Modern Air, and they, for month, and they charge this tax.
Let me check.
Every invoice, check number 93393. Charges state tax and Burlington tax.
$93393. Is that what you said?
That's what you said.
Do I need to go back and pull that check, or?
We'll see.
See what,
Go back over here.
another one.
Check 93393 to Modern Air. They charge this tax fee. Are they supposed to be? Aren't they? Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I'll pull it. So I'll have them pull that one, okay?
We had another,
I don't know. All right.
we had another one I told Jessica.
She said 93393, but that one and the check for Lonnie Jasper, she
Right.
said it probably need to be redone.
Okay. I don't remember what Lonnie's number was,
I'm on.
93.
Oh,
Modern Air, Lonnie
it's
Jasper.
close to Modern Air, if I remember right.
It's Modern Air, it's 933, 93 something.
I'll find it here.
Jasper one, probably already in there.
We have got the vouchers here, so we need.
Sticky notes.
No? It's all right. I'll find it.
93393 and 93377.
You know how they've got these X's on the floor, a lot of places where cash registers for social distancing. And somebody said they weren't gonna stand on those because they'd seen too many road runners.
I swear I need it.
You have one of those stickers.
I know, so I told Donna. What was the other one?
Pulled the
93377.
trick on my grandson the other day. I got a picture on my desk of my wife since before we were married. So I asked my grandson, said, "You never seen that picture?" I asked my grandson, "What's that picture of my brother before I married?"
Okay. You can do the
Oh,
one.
yeah. So he did know his grandma. too many years.
Probably does look a little bit different than,
Well, I do too.
yeah, we all do. We all do.
But I knew that it would happen that way, so I was having fun.
There you go. Well, he wouldn't have thought anything about it, would he?
No. His older sister knew who it was, but he didn't.
Fred, there's an outfit in here for Lebo Community Center or whatever. Has that roof's been totally finished?
I believe so. I've seen him working on it a few weeks ago.
We got an invoice there for $11,900.
Yeah, I'm sure it's taken care of. Because they worked on it several days, and it's been a few weeks ago they did that.
Hello? Hello? Here. No, I have both those checks pulled and the vouchers pulled. So,
What it cost us.
Okay.
Some hazardous materials that people bring to the landfill.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a big deal anymore.
Do these checks go with this file or not?
what checks?
The ones you brought over here?
No, those are payroll checks.
Oh, okay. So I can sign him after a bit and get this basket rolling?
Sure.
Awesome.
You're fixed up?
Bring my rubber thumb too?
No, I don't have one. But I'll get you one.
I still have to sign this one, correct?
When I see this bill, I think about TV all the time. I think TV all the time. It's not normal.
Are they still in business?
I haven't seen their advertisement for quite a few years.
Yeah, I haven't either. They used to be right there on that trail on, I haven't seen the business. Or in that area.
Well, they got it both about our age, so
Yeah, he'd ready to quit.
I took it over. That's it. That's it. I have an empty basket, I guess we're ready.
I signed so many at the office and it's like this. Have you ever read a doctor's signature?
That's
No, you
probably,
can't.
no.
That's why.
Did you ever see Doug Woodman's signature?
Yeah, I was gonna say Doug is
It's
probably,
a circle and a wiggle.
Yeah. I'm a little better at it. You can see the Tom maybe. After signing umpteen payroll checks, this, that, and the other thing. Out of order.
You pay weekly?
Mhm. Yeah, tomorrow's payday. Used to pay on Friday, but if you ever had something to do on Saturday, nobody'd show up.
Oh.
Payday. So I switched to Wednesday. Eliminated any problems.
Good.
Plus it's paid in the middle of the week, they still got time to pay your utilities.
Uh-huh.
Although I had one employee years ago, it didn't matter what day of the week he got paid, the next day was different.
He's still there?
No, he works at county.
Oh.
One of the best workers I ever had.
Really?
Yeah, he was awesome.
Huh.
Concrete finishing second time.
Mhm.
I didn't see, I think those.
Played about as hard as he worked.
There. Those road bridges now.
Is Road and Bridge right there, Sylvia?
Yeah, working on, starting.
Working on it now.
That's right, I saw Heather.
Covered paper with this.
Yeah.
It's an artificial price.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That's really easy.
I think that's the same way as some of these sales they advertise.
Mhm.
For instance, down in Florida, going to school and for a part-time job, but then delivering groceries to houses. And, he showed us a picture on his camera, he sent it to my wife. Delivered to a place, it was a gated place. And when he got done, I don't know where he looked about that, he valued the house, $28 million. And he didn't even give him a tip.
I don't say that, and they didn't even give him kids.
He didn't.
It'd be kind of an interesting job for a temporary job.
Well, actually, he's been doing pretty well with it. He did it in Emporia when he was back here. And, in Topeka, he worked for this one company that has deliveries in both towns. And when he got down there, I guess they do that down there too. And it's been a really good part-time job for a college kid. Because they'll let you work your own hours and just show up whenever you want to, leave whenever you have to. Yes, he does. Has to pay for his own gas, use his own vehicle. But he still comes out all right. He's in Miami, and I guess it's a good way to learn your way around town in a hurry.
Yeah, that would be.
Nice catch, Bob. Now here's the corrected checks.
Okay.
I'm just
So
signing
you
it real
get that
quick.
and that. And here's the collector's checks.
I'll just hand these right back to you.
Okay.
Now make sure you don't get those mixed, John.
I'm sorry?
These two,
Those two are with the first batch.
Yeah, signed it.
That's me on here, or all five of them.
all of you.
That's it.
Do we need to see the
What's that?
sheriff's got his stuff?
Oh, it's in general.
Sorry. I'm on the other end here. Wade in court today.
Yes.
I thought we used to buy our mobile from Okie. Did they do that bit?
No. You probably are right. I thought it was good.
Back because we're dealing with a couple of, and I see this is, yeah, from one. They went out of business. So
That's one thing I hated from DNS from that station. I never could get my car serviced in town because they only wanted one brand of oil.
Really?
Bob, we had a 75th anniversary, birthday party for my sister over the weekend, and her husband got her the coolest gift ever. It's a Hotel California album signed by all of them with their certificate of authenticity. And it's sealed in clear plastic and stuff nicely.
Okay, who's Hotel California?
The Eagles,
Oh, the Eagle. Why didn't you say that?
so
That's
I thought
pretty,
everybody knew that album.
that's pretty neat.
I was amazed.
Yeah,
That's gonna have a lot of value someday,
that would be.
Yeah,
and even now.
yeah. I think she's gonna take it to a frame shop and have it framed where both sides are visible.
I think Bob was gonna be surprised if you caught on to that.
I didn't.
That'd be way over.
Come on, the Eagles?
I know who it is, but he's a,
If you said Eagles, I would have known.
I just thought that it was the coolest birthday ever.
Okay, that'd be neat.
Pretty nice, all right.
This would be on in their address. I always like that. Eagle, 1/4 drive.
that's not all the payroll checks.
Not very many people get a paper check.
Most
They
everything's
get
done
direct
electronic.
deposit.
Most everything's electronic.
Direct deposit.
Okay. Wow,
And it's usually not that many, but we have
That's my
summer
Hotel
people right
California.
now.
So that's my Hotel California then.
If we're all getting checks, you'd have to go 140.
Yeah, I know.
I never was too much into those groups.
That was probably the favorite concert I ever went to, was the Eagles.
Last concert I went to was an Elvis Presley concert.
Oh, I bet that was awesome.
Couple months before he died,
Really?
Kansas City. So I guess that's my concert going.
Yeah, I didn't figure the Eagles would be in your realm, but
Yeah, musical listen, I've heard him, but I didn't know the name of it. I knew the Eagles. I think Lindsay was wanting to come in and know what time on and leave. Maybe she changed her mind.
you know, somebody step in and see.
Well, I thought what she had to talk about. She's going to come in yesterday, if we were gone. So so.
Donald check, she said.
That's the deal for Jasper's check
Oh, okay.
and, Modern Era, whatever they have, it goes,
Yeah, modern.
it goes in that first box.
This goes in the other.
The other one,
The other one.
Should we be?
Good.
you say what you're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that kind of around table.
People love me in hours, we usually do.
Well, we're waiting on Lindsay. Anybody got anything? Got over there with Denise.
Last day to advance voters Monday at noon.
I don't have anything.
I don't have it.
Has everybody had the opportunity to read over any of the applicants for economic development?
I glanced over them.
Read it.
I read the first two, but I haven't read the one we got yesterday.
I have not either. There was one of them in there that I'd entertain interviewing. His request for salary was a little over what we were offering, but I think it'd be worth maybe visiting. I don't know the procedure, whether we need to go maybe next week in executive session and discuss.
I think we should wait. I'm not in favor of doing what we've been doing for the last few years myself, but if we're going to do something, I think we should wait and see who gets appointed. They should be a part of all that procedure. Because whoever gets appointed is going to be here for the next two years.
Yeah, that's true.
Wonder how quick they'll have that position
I have
filled.
no idea.
I thought it would be in September.
Pardon?
I thought it would be in
In
September
September.
before they were becoming active.
I think it would be good to have all 5 commissions in place.
I just figured.
Prior to,
I wish it could be. Yeah.
The one
I
was the one
told-
applicant,
I was told that it'd be.
the one applicant I didn't think was probably qualified well enough, but the one you're talking about probably overqualified. But he's gonna seek higher wages too.
right, well, we need to see if he'd be willing to step in at the scale and then,
Yeah.
you know, and then when the pay salary study comes out, maybe that would change.
That
Good
individual.
morning.
Hi. May I come forward?
You may.
Okay.
Please.
I have a proposal for you guys to consider. Given the new amount of workload that we have with our staff, I am asking if we could look at a public health nurse assistant. So this isn't technically a nurse. I'm thinking somebody who's at least either worked in a physician's clinic or has worked in public health or has worked with Medicare D. So what I have is Sally has resigned from her position, or retired, if you will, and she won't be coming back to work for the county. Part of her duties were to assist people in signing up for Medicare Part D and assist people with understanding how to sign up for Medicare in general, and then also doing a prescription drug program. So if people who don't have insurance need a medication, she could help them find that. So with her position, I have 12 hours a week that she used to work, and I at least need to replace that for that purpose. With the increased workload that we have with COVID, and we cannot go on with just the 3 of us nurses how we are right now. It's, we've had to push appointments back and reschedule people, which is the beauty of how we have it set up right now. We can do that. But as we continue to see spikes, which we expect after fair, after school starts, once flu season gets here, we just expect that. We're being told from KDHE that this is not going away, that us being required to investigate all of this, it's not going away, that this is indefinite. So we need to do something so we can continue to provide the services that you pay us to provide, that we told KDHE we will provide. And I just don't think we can do that with the current stuff that we have right now. So this person would be like a mid-level person, above secretarial, if you will, but not quite the nursing level. If nurses applied for it, I would definitely look at what we could do otherwise. But if we have qualified people who have worked in this capacity before, I think we should look at that level first. They wouldn't be able to perform immunizations if they're not a nurse. But I think at least helping us do contact tracing, helping us do disease investigations, and then also adding on that Medicare part.
So could this be paid for with COVID money?
Yes, so health departments are eligible for some funding. It's called ELC funding, and it's only coming to health departments. And it funds through the year 22. So it would fund through 21 and 22. We could utilize that to fund this. And then also I have a little room in my budget from Sally's position, obviously. Katie right now is working 3/5. I do have the other 2/5 of her position that I've never filled, but Katie can give me an extra day this fall when her kids are in school, but I still don't think it's gonna be enough.
When she worked 3 days?
She works 3 days. I have it budgeted for 5. So I've always had that, and I had thought about using that money to get someone in here to do scanning and get us caught up with that, and I just never have bit that bullet yet, but I think this position could do that as well.
But you still need someone to do the COVID stuff so that Katie can get back to the schools.
Yeah, or the person to do some of the school stuff, so.
One way or another.
Yeah, because you don't have to be licensed to do hearing and vision in schools. I could send any of you to training to do that. You don't have to be a nurse to do that. So if this person can do that, that would alleviate Katie to stay back and do immunizations or disease investigations, so.
You're looking for a full-time person, 40 hours.
I think that's how we should go, at least 4 days a week, if not 5.
I think you'll get a better qualified. If you go out there to 40 hours, you're going to have a better opportunity to get a better qualified person
Yeah,
than you are seeking somebody for 24.
yeah, and that's been my experience.
I agree. I mean, you've got other avenues to help finance that, and better yet, it's a win-win for you.
And this is not increasing your staff either, because you've had 2 that I know of who have left and you have not replaced them.
Right.
And now this would also replace Sally's position, so you're not increasing your staff in any way.
I don't see a problem with it.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Get to advertising, however you do it.
Okay.
You want to do it.
I'm with Don on the 40-hour week.
Yeah, I think
it
you
yeah,
shoot for the
I am
40 hours.
too.
be a lot more attractive to someone, I would say.
Okay.
And it'd take the pressure off.
Yeah, yeah. It's, the pressure's definitely there. It's not going away.
Sure it is. And you guys have been doing great with it.
Thank you, thank you.
Do
Do you need to move to approve this?
we need to put that in motion, Bob?
I think we would be wise to, that way it's official.
Okay. Do we need a number for it, or just?
Just move to approve the public health nurse assistant position for the,
And this is the
Course
job
outline.
description, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will move to approve the job description before us for the health department to be able to go out and search for a new employee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Good luck.
We posted. So we didn't have any new cases to report yesterday. We're still at our same number. I think we have 4 active right now.
Yeah, 4 active now.
4 active right now. So if we see an increase from FAIR, we should expect to see that about 5 to 10 days out. So this Thursday, Friday.
So did we see any active cases from any of the 4th of July celebrations that we're aware of?
The cases that we saw within the 2 weeks after 4th of July were from a 4th of July celebration, but it was more a private party. It wasn't from the community that we can tell. So it's really difficult to always identify exactly where someone might have got it, but if you attended a 4th of July celebration and 2 or 3 other people were sick also, odds are that's where you got yours. So, but from our large community gatherings, not that we can tell.
So,
Yeah.
and did you watch the schools board meetings last night? They're all still a go?
I was at the Northern District's school board meeting last night, and they were deciding on a date for start. I think they pushed their start date back a couple of weeks. I think they landed on August 27th instead of August 13th. And we just talked to them about some of the requirements that we want made. We asked them, among what the governor had already mandated, we asked that they have a sick room. If a child is waiting to go home, they need to be in a room. And if they have symptoms, they need to have a medical mask on, not a cloth mask on. The governor mandates that everybody wear a mask, age 5 and up. She also mandates temperature checks before you enter the building the first time every day. She also mandates hand washing every hour, no less than every hour. And she also mandates social distancing of 6 feet or greater unless you're in an instructional classroom. So with those mandates, we made a communication tool in Burlington on what we as a group of Burlington staff and community members, health experts, if you will, what we wanted to see change. We did also mandate that the water fountains be turned off, that they not drink from the spigot, that they just fill with the station. We feel that that's important. Increased sanitation, wiping down high-touch surfaces multiple times a day. Burlington is able to, with their HVAC system, to bring in fresh air at the touch of a button on an iPad. So we know that dilution is important with this, so we recommended that as well. We also, I think, will recommend some, I don't want to say a seating chart, but if sports are allowed to occur, special labeling of sections of the bleachers. So if you were sitting in section A on this game night and there was a case in section A, then we can advertise that. If you were sitting in section A, please quarantine, if we can't identify exactly who the 6-foot contacts were. So those are just some things that we're looking at.
So the mask, I think I was in a conversation somewhere where it was thought that when it comes to local, that might go away. You take a kindergartner, you have a 5-year-old and less than 5, and then one above 5. This one doesn't have to wear a mask, but this one does.
Right.
We're talking kindergartners.
Right. And that's where my frustration came when I came to you last Monday and told you I was frustrated with the governor. And that the reason behind that is her guidance document, like I said, that spent hundreds of people, hundreds of hours to create, says grades 6 and under do not need to wear a mask. They shouldn't wear a mask. And so when she comes out and mandates that everyone age 5 and up has to, it didn't make sense to me, and it still doesn't. But and then she also, in that guidance document that was published, it also says that you should not use your resources on temperature checks. We know that kids don't always have temperatures with this. Young adults don't have temperatures with this quite often. So to check for temperatures, it's going to cost a lot of money to get the tools there, and it's going to take a lot of time to do that scanning of every student and staff every single day. So, it was interesting that her guidance mandated that, or her order mandated that. So, where we're at right now with that is if we were to opt out of her executive order, because county commissioners don't have control of schools, and because HB 2016 doesn't give school boards the right to overrule the governor, I don't know that we can ever opt out of that order. So at this point, we've advised our schools go forward with those requirements. If we want to go to a legal battle, go to court, we could, but at this point, I don't know if I have it in me for that to do that.
Did you happen to read the Emporia paper, or what Emporia schools are doing on temperature checks?
I have not, no.
They've got some kind of a machine that kids can walk through, and it'll process 70 kids per minute.
That's awesome.
And then if they find it'll trigger if they find the temperature, and then they can take 4 or 5 kids that walk through at that time and recheck them and find the one that had the temperature. And they said it cost about $4,000 a machine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, we've heard other health departments and other schools talk about that, and Burlington did talk about that. I don't know what tools that are gonna land on to use, if it's gonna be the handheld, shoot it at your forehead type thing, from a distance, and it just flags if you set it at a temperature like 100 degrees, and if it's above that, it's red, and if it's below that, it's green. So I'm not exactly for sure where everybody's gonna land. I think the interesting part is going to be how to go forward if somebody does have symptoms, but it's not COVID. Because if you look at the symptoms of COVID, it can mimic strep throat, sinus allergies. It can mimic norovirus, which is throwing up diarrhea thing that always goes around every spring. So are we to keep home those kids for 10 days every time there's a symptom? And that's essentially what Dr. Schell is recommending, and that's what some of the guidance document is recommending as well. But I feel like we're gonna run into some issues where, kids can't always afford to go to the doctor, they can't always afford to be tested. And we're gonna end up with parents missing a lot of work and students missing a lot of school because they had a fever a day or they had an upset tummy a day. Some kids get nervous and throw up because of a test or because they're being bullied,
Right.
It's not always COVID. And so it's gonna be.
It's a tough game right now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, so.
Do you think the state school board will give control to the local school boards? We can think they will do that, or do you think
I don't know that.
Stay with a statewide rule?
I don't know. I feel like my best knowledge of the situation is that when we as health departments and county commissions got to overrule the governor's orders, that only happened because there was a law made. HB 2016 said that you guys get the final say. Even if Dr. Schell makes an order right now, you guys can have the final say. If you don't like what he does, you can override him. That same right wasn't given to anyone else. It wasn't given to school boards, except the state school board, as we saw with Executive Order 58, with the delay in start. So I don't know that it was given down to the local school boards. But the guidance we're getting now is if we want to challenge that and the school board or the commission wants to, I guess it would have to be the school board, take it to court, and then they could. So, and then whoever wins would be the new case law, I guess. But Wade can speak better to all that than I can. But,
For me, I whatever Dr. Schell says, what we need to do, so.
yeah. Yeah, that's what we're working towards. So.
Now, do you agree with that or no? Whatever Dr. Schell, whatever Dr. Schell recommends, and that's how we as a county should proceed.
Yeah, you guys have appointed him.
Yeah, so
And as your health officer, so if he makes the decisions, then.
Yep.
If you don't like his decisions, you can always reappoint someone else, but at this point, if you're trusting him as that appointment, then So far, so good, I guess. We'll see.
I think it's better to have someone local,
Yeah, exactly.
someone sitting in Topeka and mandating for every school, every
Right.
county, no matter what size or what.
I agree. I agree.
Someone on my staff made a very wise statement when schools were closed in March. And it was almost like calling a snow day for the whole state when there was a blizzard in Johnson County. And that's kind of a really neat analogy that I like to use. And I don't want to do that in Coffee County. If there's a case or two or three in a northern school district, I don't think we need to close Burlington and Leroy Gridley. That doesn't make sense. I don't want to call snow days when there's not a blizzard, you know? So we really tried to work with the schools to say, allow us to come in, let's isolate the ill, let's quarantine the exposed. Let us do that part of our job. You know, does it mean we might have to call off school for a day if we get a positive case at 9:30 p.m. and we need to figure out who's been a contact? We might need to close school for a half a day till we get that figured out, maybe, but it doesn't mean you have to close for 2 weeks, you know? So we're gonna really try to not have to force closures when we don't need to.
District 245 is meeting Wednesday night. Are you gonna be there?
They have not invited me. I have spoke with Russ and Jay
I talked
Applegate
to Russ for a
both.
while, 30 minutes or better yesterday.
Yeah, I've met with them both and told them what we would be requiring.
So you've already made that discussion.
But I will be there if he wants me to be. I'll be there. That's not a problem. Yep. Thanks for your time, guys. It's nice to get to chat when you're not rushed.
Yeah, I know,
Thanks for
right?
the information.
Thank you.
Good
Do
luck.
what?
Thanks for the information.
Absolutely.
Good luck on the applicant.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll get that advertised and going and on schedule.
Lindsay,
Yes.
do you want to sign this?
You have something, Karen?
No, I was just wanted to hear what Lindsay was saying. I happen to be walking down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hi Karen.
Hi.
Lindsay, after, whenever COVID actually goes away,
Yeah,
will this position still something you think you will need?
parts of it with the
Parts of
Medicare
it.
D for sure.
If, whenever that might happen, you might take another look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's ever gonna go into maybe a retirement.
I would love nothing more than for COVID to go away.
Why not?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lindsay.
The only other thing I would like to mention, I guess, I meant to mention it yesterday, and I don't know why it slipped my mind. Mr. Robron and Tom, of course, concerns about the Matthias Lake deal. And I really, to be honest with you, I don't remember how long Wayne's had it on the radar to get this accomplished. And I know he said now they're working on the landfill and I'll get back to it, but starts off raining and he's not gonna be able to get to it. So do we need to suggest that he send this out for bids and actually hire a contractor? Let's move forward and get it done.
I think Wayne is doing a relatively good job on what his plans are out there. I really feel that the road runs, it's just not going as fast as they would like it done. But I think Wayne has made a lot of progress in the last year from where we were before that. Before that, there was a lot of talk forever and ever, but I think he has started making progress. And we've had the COVID come in, which has made some difference in weather and all that stuff, but I really think that he's doing what he was planning on doing, and I understand with the position, there's other things that do come up too. But that's just my opinion.
That's right.
My thought is, if we don't get this phase one completed this fall, next spring, we probably need to evaluate maybe seeking a contractor to come in. Right now, if we put it out for bids now, it probably wouldn't get done till next spring anyway.
That is true. So,
because we're already August 1st.
Is Wayne able to move forward without the cooperation of some of the landowners? I'm hearing that he's having difficulty with other people not doing their part. And I'm just asking a question because I don't know. But I figured you might know more about it than I do since you're more local here, but I'm just trying to convince other landowners to do their part. I don't know. I'm asking.
well, to my knowledge, I haven't heard any of that, so.
See, that's what I think. I think he's doing what he was going to do on the county's part of it. And I think he's making progress with that. Now, it may somewhere down the road get to where he can do no more without
Yeah, I
intervening
just
from others.
didn't
But I
know
think-
where we were. in
I
that.
really think he's doing what, I feel like he's doing what he's setting out to do. It's just, I think it's not happening as fast as some people would like for it to.
Phase 1 won't involve as many other landowners as what phase 2 and 3 is going to. That's when we're gonna be getting, if we get to the point where the water's going out the southeast corner, and you're getting over into some other landowners from there going south, you'll have some other people involved, where now the other people are not involved in this situation, so.
But there are.
Hopefully the weather will open up where they can get this phase 1, as he calls it, you get phase 1 completed.
Well, I'm kind of with Tom on this deal. If he's not waiting on other landowners, I think we need to make a push to get it done.
I think the landfill, I didn't realize the landfill was gonna take up so much time, equipment-wise and people-wise, is what it has. And I know it's got some priority too. And if it hadn't been for that, the Matthias project, because the electric poles have been moved back for 6 weeks. If it hadn't been for the landfill project, that we got some mandates on to complete, you know, that project out there might already be completed or be a work in process now. So hopefully the weather will cooperate, although we need more rain for crops. So hopefully the weather will cooperate where you can get that project completed.
Well, I know we've been talking about this for a long time now.
You know, only a year and a half in for me, so I'm not sure how long you've been talking about it, so.
Well, it's been a few
Probably
years.
20 years from what I've been
Okay,
hearing.
well,
Maybe not quite that long, but the last 8 or 10 years, probably been pretty serious conversations. But I wasn't here either, so.
I was curious everybody's thoughts, so. That's all I got.
I think we do need to get something accomplished this year. If not, you know, next spring, maybe we need to take a look and bring an outside contractor in.
Well, like they send out the bid,
Yeah.
several nice sized projects, I guess you'd be surprised.
I think we have got things accomplished. If you notice Wayne's last report, he was talking about putting a couple cross pipes out in that project, so I mean, they're working on it.
It's work in process, so
It is.
hopefully the weather allows to get it done.
Well, if they can't put a full crew on it, maybe they can keep 2 or 3 people working at it.
That's all I had. Donna, you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Well, then we'll adjourn at 10:38.
Worked that out right for me.
Thanks for using your pen. That's your phone, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you.
Need pins, Bob? I got about 10 of them here.
Next time they stop back in there. too.
Yeah, I don't know how I ended up with all of them at Tom's desk, but Dawn some would be Dawn's.
I had 2 or 3 here, but some disappeared, so maybe did you
There's
get
some
one?
sanitizer.
So what I've been having to do is box up your
But I
stuff
don't mind, so if you don't
and move
want
stuff out of this room when other meetings are in here.
Today's
So-
big deal. I've always got pins.
Yeah.
So if anybody needs a pen, just come to Tom's desk.
We got sanitizer, wipes, and everything. All right. Is that it?
I haven't said anything. I've been listening to others, but want you to know how happy I am.
Hey, Denise.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Was Angie gonna bring back a
Thank you. I gotta-
budget
I'm
for the
been on the
commissioners to
Bradley
sign
show.
today, or is that another day?
I
Actually,
have no